Hello, today we are doing our third lesson, which is on percent proportions and using the percent equation. We're going to look at both of them. They will both give us actually the same answer for whatever problem we are solving. So it says a ticket to Valley Fair usually costs $20. That's the total price that we have to pay for a ticket. But students on school field trips receive a 20% discount. How much would a single ticket cost? So I'm going to start with our percent proportion because this is something that we have done before. So the part that we're getting off, we know is, we don't know. We know it's 20%, but we don't know how much it actually costs, how much money we're getting off. We know our total price is $20, so we don't know the part that we get off. We know that it's 20% right here. Oopsies. 20% out of a total of 100%. 100 is always on the bottom. And this is just a proportion you can cross multiply. 100 times x is 100x. 20 times 20, well, 2 times 2 is 4. There's 2 zeros, so we get 400. And the opposite of multiplying by 100 is dividing by 100. So we get x equal to 400 divided by 100 is 4. And since we were talking about money, it's $4. Well, think about it. Does it make sense to pay $4 to go to Valley Fair? Well, no, that's because this is how much we get off. That's our discount that we're getting. So $4 off of $20 gives us $16. So our ticket's only $16 now. Let's use a percent equation to see if we get the same answer. So we don't know the part that we're getting off. We do know that our total price is $20. If we multiply that by our percent as a decimal, we can figure out the part or the dollar amount that we get off. So 20% as a decimal, well, 20% is 20% out of 100%. So if we write that as a decimal, 20 divided by 100, it just moves our decimal 2 spots. It's really 0.2. Or 0.2. So if we plug this in our calculator, 20 times 0.2, we get 4, which is the same answer we got over here. We get $4 off. So same thing, $20 for our ticket minus the $4 off leaves us with $16. So either way, we'll get the same answer. So let's take a look at another question and compare. Josie is selling tins of popcorn as a part of a fundraiser for a class trip for $14. Josie gets 35% of the money from each tin to put towards the cost of the trip. How much money does Josie get from each tin? So you can use one of the two equations. I'm going to use the percent equation first and then do the proportion to see if we get the same answer. So we know the tin of popcorn costs a total of $14. So we know the total is 14. And we know the decimal is 35%. Well, the percent is 35. As a decimal, 35% out of 100%, we just divide. That will give us 0.35. So 14 times 0.35. That will give us the part that she gets to keep or put towards her trip. So 14 times 0.35 in my calculator gives me 4.9. And since we were talking about money, this is really $4, and if we have 2 decimals for money, 90 cents. So how much money does she get from each tin? If she gets that 35%, that's really $4.90. If we set up a proportion, we don't know the part that she gets to keep, but we do know the total cost is $14. She's getting 35% off of 100% and cross multiply. So we really are at some point dividing by 100. It's either here or when we convert our fraction or the percent to a decimal. So 35 times 14 gives us 490. 100 times x is 100x. If we divided by 100 to get x by itself, we still get 4.9. or 4.90. So that's how much she gets to put towards her fundraiser. Next page, it says you have been saving up money to buy a ticket for a concert that costs $35. You have saved $21. What percent have you saved? So we can use the percent equation. Part equals the total, total, times the percent as a decimal. So we know that the total price of the concert is $35. We know that the part is $21 that we've already saved. So we need to figure out what percent have we saved. If we want to get x by itself to solve this, you're really just dividing by 35, which is in fact doing part divided by the total. So 21 divided by 35 gives us 0.6. But remember, our percent is always as a decimal in our equation. So to move it back to the percent with the percent symbol, this is multiplying by 100. Remember, fractions to decimals to percents. To get from a decimal back to the percent, you multiply by 100. So 0.6 times 100 will give us 60%. It moves our decimal 2 spots. So we've saved 60% of the money we need for a trip. If you think about it, we've saved over half. So 60% is over half. 21% is over half. That makes sense, okay? 0.6%, if that was our answer, that doesn't make any sense because we saved $21. All right, next one it says, on a math test, you received a score of 75%. You got 18 questions correct. How many questions were on the test? All right, we know we received a 75%, which as a decimal is 0.75 if you divide by 100 out of 100%. You got 18 questions correct. That is the part that you got correct. We want to know what's the total. So the opposite of multiplying by 0.75, we would have to divide by 0.75 to figure out, oops, not that one. I wanted to cross off these ones. To figure out what was our total amount of questions we had on our test. So 18 divided by 0.75 gives me 24. There were 24 questions total on our test. So if you think about it, our answer, for some people, maybe doesn't make sense that it's bigger than both of the numbers in our problem, especially if we're dividing, because you think your answer is going to be a smaller number. But we're dividing by a decimal. So this is really asking, like, if we were talking about money for a minute here, how many times does 75 cents fit into $18? Well, it's going to be more than 18 because we have less than 1. It's less than $1 whole. So it would fit in 24 times. Last question. I would suggest trying this on your own and then clicking play to check. It says a taco company puts 24 taco shells in every box. Recently, the company expanded the box and puts 25% more shells in each box. How many more shells are in the box? So I'm going to use the percent equation. The part that we're looking for is the total times the percent as a decimal. So right now, the total is 24. So we want to know, well, how much is 25% of 24? We want to know how many more can they put in? What part can they add? So we don't know the part, but we do know the decimal, the percent as a decimal. 25% out of 100% is 0.25. So if we multiply that, 24 times 0.25, we get a nice 6. So what are we talking about? We're talking about 6 taco shells So it says how many more shells are in the box? Well, there's 6 more taco shells in the box. So now, if they did ask you how many are there total now with the 25% added, it would be the 24 shells plus 6 more would give us a total of 30 altogether. They didn't ask you that, but you could have figured it out. All right, here is your homework. Your homework is Percent Problems, Worksheet 3. If you have questions, please let me know. Some of them are self-explanatory, and others you need to use your percent equation. Numbers 7 and 8, you can use your percent equation or percent proportion. Any of these you could use a proportion for as well. Quick on 7 and 8, 63 is what percent of. If this says of, the next number is the total of a total of. So that way you know which number is